Yo, entrepreneurs, listen up. I was on a coaching call the other day with one of my clients, and he was struggling. He was struggling because he had launched this new program in 2023, and he just wasn't generating nearly as much demand as he thought he was going to be. It wasn't taking off, and he was starting to struggle. And so we're looking at it. We're cracking open the hood, and we're like, is there something wrong with the offer? Like, what's going on here? What can we tweak? And what we realized pretty quickly is that the reason he wasn't achieving his goals, his monetary goals, his goals of like bringing in a certain number of clients and making an impact on their lives, was because he just wasn't doing his core money-making activities. And what I mean by that is there are certain things that you as a CEO, a founder, can do on a daily basis which are going to directly impact whether or not dollars come in your door that day. And the more that you do those activities, the more dollars that will come in. But it's very, very easy to get sucked down the rabbit hole of non-money or non-revenue generating activities. And we can fool ourselves into thinking, oh, I need to spend more time on that product or on this delivery or answering emails and doing these things. But at the end of the day, if you're not driving new leads into your funnel, then it does not matter how great the product is. And that is exactly what was happening here. We went through his social media and we looked around, and I was like, hey, dude, you've only posted like once in the last week. And over the last month, you've only mentioned that you have this program one time. So why are you surprised nobody is aware that this thing is that it even exists? And he's like, yeah, I guess that's a good point. And at the end of the day, if you're not making as much money as you want to in your business, it's probably because you're not making enough offers. And that is your key money-making activity as an entrepreneur, is to be asking yourself every day, how am I going to make an offer to somebody today that gets them to say yes or no? That should be your one metric that really matters. It's not, did I make a social media post? Because one of the things that we can fool ourselves into doing is we make a post and we think, oh, that's my money-making offer for the day. But we didn't have a call to action in that post. We didn't say, hey, if you want to learn more, if you want to do this thing, click here, right? And so it's not really going to generate money. It might raise awareness, which down the road could lead to money. But we need to be clear. When are we creating content for visibility? When are we creating it to drive a monetization result? And in the case of this student, he just wasn't doing that at all. He was trying to raise a visibility and awareness, and that'll work on a long enough time frame. But if you're trying to make money in the short term, you need to be making more offers. And so that means putting out more content and then making a direct, here's the call to action, or DMing people, cold emailing people, cold calling people, knocking on doors. When I first started my very first business, the window washing company, we would go and we just knock on hundreds of doors a day, and we would get turned away. And then we would get signs, we'd put up signs, but every single day we were just trying to get in front of as many people as possible, because we knew it's just a numbers game. And so you have to ask yourself, if you're not growing as quickly as you want to, what can you do to increase your money-making activities? And my guess is that you're probably not spending enough time on that. As a CEO founder, I think you should probably be spending the majority of your time on prospecting and getting more leads into the system. I think that should be your number one job. And so if you're not growing as quickly as you want to, if you're not putting a disproportionate amount of your time into making offers, then I'm not surprised that you're not growing. Now, this is hard, and as you move through different levels of the game, what your core money-making activity is will start to change over time. It's not necessarily a great use of my time to sit in the DMs anymore and try and slide in and meet people and try to sell products that way. That's not such a good use. I'm not out there knocking on doors anymore. These days, the higher leverage activity for me is to create a video like this, or to put out a social media content on LinkedIn. That's going to do a lot more than the alternative. And so as you move through different levels of the game and you have different capabilities, you just have to recognize, okay, has my money-making activity, my highest leverage money-making activity, has it shifted? And if it has, great, that's awesome. But don't lose sight of the fact that you can still have people doing the things that you were doing before, right? So it might be my highest leverage activity to do this video, but doesn't mean that I can't hire somebody to do the lower leverage activity, which is sliding in the DMs or knocking on doors, right? And so you replace yourself at the lower levels of the money making activities so that you can focus on the higher leverage ones. But at the end of the day, you still need to be focusing on those money making activities. And if you're not, then you're not going to grow. It's just that simple. So identify what are your key revenue generating activities that you need to do on a daily basis, and then attack it with violence. If you want to learn more about how to do that, I did a blog article on this last year called, I think it was called How to Grow a Money Tree. So I think you can find it anthonyvicino.com/money-tree. Go check that out, and that will walk you through how to plant and nurture money seeds. And that's just the analogy, the framework that I use to talk about this idea of getting different money making vehicles and then nurturing them with your money generating activities, and then how to redeploy the fruits of your labor into more revenue generating activities or vehicles. So go check that out. I think you'll find that valuable, but just recognize it's something that we all struggle with. We can all easily get off path and start putting out fires in the day-to-day of the business and forget that, oh yeah, I need to be driving revenue. At the end of the day, that's your most important thing. That's what you're in business for, right? The purpose of a business is to transact, to deliver value in exchange for something, right? If you're not doing that, then you're not really doing business. So every single day, do your money generating activities and you will start to grow again. So that's going to do it for me, guys and gals. I appreciate you being here. I'll catch you back here tomorrow, but until then, stay hyper focused, my friend.